Welcome to Rotoworld Football Show's Friday Q&A and DFS show here on NFL on NBC YouTube channel. My name is Pat Kerrane. I'm joined by Kyle Dvorchak. Kyle, how's it going?
Not bad. We're a little late because you, Mr. Big Shot, were on the happy hour. So if you're watching, check that out when I have no clue when that comes out, but whenever it's live.
It just aired on Peacock, but you'll be able to find it on this same YouTube channel later today. I was on with Matthew Berry. You can check that out. Did a segment on game environments that we like, which will dovetail nicely into this discussion as we talk about DFS games that we're excited to target. But we're also going to be answering some start-sit questions. I kind of had this all dialed in terms of the timing in my head, and now we're starting 15 minutes late. But there will be a break where we answer start-sit questions for 15 minutes, and then we'll go back to talk some more DFS, and at the end of the show, we'll answer start-sit questions for another 10 or 15 minutes as well. So fire your start-sit questions in now, and I'll start from the top of the chat. You only have to put it in once. Don't ask about trades you already made. We're not going to answer those, but we'll go through all your start-sit questions in about 15, 20 minutes. So, Kyle, let's start here with just a kind of overview of the DFS slate, though. One of the games that I really was interested in playing this week is the Chargers game. I think we could maybe have a Justin Herbert explosion week, but I've also been interested in playing the Bengals game. That one is maybe like a more fragile game because the Falcons could obviously go very run heavy, but I think that Burrow is set up to potentially be in a really, they were operating out of the shotgun on basically every single snap last week. So they could potentially push the Falcons to more volume. That one might be a little more under the radar. But those are kind of the two games that look like kind of fun to me and that maybe people won't be all over. I guess the Herbert Seattle one will be popular, huh?
I honestly think both of these will be particularly popular. I know ownership around the industry has them being pretty popular. Geno, people played him at like a 16% clip in the DraftKings Millie last week. People love themselves some Geno. He always projects somewhat well, at least, with our 1 or 2 game sample early in the year. He started to project very well. It's a good matchup for him. I believe it's against man that he has played extremely well this year, and Chargers play a lot of man. So it looks like a good spot for him to bounce back this week. But the field knows that. And the best part normally, last week was kind of divergent from this, but normally is you have 2 stacking options. Like, you do not need to worry about anyone else. Sure, the oddball tight end will catch a touchdown, but there's no point in chasing or predicting them. If Geno goes off, it's at least one of, if not both of Metcalf and Lockett, who are kind of both underpriced and are both traditionally very popular. Like, I think playing I like Geno in this spot, but I think he'll be particularly popular. Justin Herbert, probably less so, because as you get to, especially in DraftKings, his price range, 7,200, you're only 800 away from Lamar Jackson. And we know Lamar Jackson he has the highest ceiling of any quarterback, because he's so likely, or he's really the only quarterback particularly likely to go 300, 100. Like, Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts have outside chances of them. Allen, not quite the runner, and Hurts, not quite the passer of Lamar Jackson. So I think among the payoff options, maybe Herbert is a bit of leverage off of Lamar, but I don't think they'll be like that. Neither of them will be that high owned. Neither of them will also be that much leverage off of one or the other, though. I think they'll both be between like 7 and 11% or something like that. Whereas like Geno, I think he'd be comfortably over 10. Whereas like it wouldn't shock me if the cards flip and Herbert's like 6, 7.
Yeah, okay. I'm interested in that. I think Lamar definitely has like a higher pure ceiling as like a player, but this could be a spot where Herbert goes off. What about Burrow? Is Burrow in that game gonna draw much interest?
I don't think it'll be as popular as Geno Smith in that game. That's probably like logical, though. That makes sense. And I still think it will be popular. It looks like a pretty popular construction this week is paying less than $7,000 for a quarterback, whether it be Geno, Derek Carr, getting like some run. Just if you run like 150 lineups, a little bit of randomness, you'll get a decent amount of Derek Carr. Like, it couldn't be me, but I do think, and we see this from time to time, we're just like getting a cheap guy against a bad defense. Carr's a fine enough quarterback, will be somewhat popular, but I do think you're looking at some combination of like Lamar, Geno, Burrow, maybe Carr in there. Maybe Herbert takes Lamar's spot among the top 5 is probably how I'd pin it down. I'm curious to see, and maybe people go back to Tom Brady, like Brady, because again, he's got the easy stack options, is typically popular, but his game looks like it sucks, so maybe people won't play him. He was really popular last week, though.
He was. I think you have such a harder time imagining the Panthers pushing back. I mean, they're literally trading all the players who could potentially push back. So there's no way for them to do it. Yeah. So I think that game, like maybe see playing Fournette is like look, he's going to score 2 touchdowns before he sits type of play. But Brady with some higher price guys in good spots, I don't know. It seems thin to me. Geno seems like he's going to be really popular at this price. He's way underpriced, right?
Yeah, he's still, and his receivers are underpriced too. So like, if you're running especially if you force two stacking options with your quarterback, like if you just have an optimizer, or if you're just in your brain thinking like, which quarterback can I score the most like median points with if I play them and 2 pass catchers? It's so very obviously Geno, just because he's underpriced. His receivers are underpriced because they both have like top 20 weighted opportunity ratings. That it just kind of all fits together so perfectly. So I do think like that, like. Maybe I should play Chargers defense this week.
Ooh, okay.
Like he's still,
that's interesting.
I think he's still Geno Smith. I don't know. He's really good. He's been really good this year. I don't mean to like discredit what he's done. He's been really good.
I don't mean to discredit it. I'm just going to literally bet against him.
I'm betting against not as a player. I'm betting against the people playing him, not him himself.
That's right. We're just betting against other people, not Geno Smith. Even though
Correct.
We would benefit immensely if Geno Smith has a bad game and throws a pick.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. All right. Let's move to running back. Josh Jacobs looking like mega chalk here.
Yes. Yes.
I don't have an argument against the spot. Like he's been an absolute workhorse. He's been somewhat involved, especially over the last couple of weeks, like heavily involved as a receiver, getting a really nice target share. That could be a blip. You know, sometimes we see target share spike for running backs. He's never really been consistently involved. So, you know, some skepticism there, but like that's icing on the cake. The cake is that he is a workhorse rusher in a great spot facing the Texans. So I don't know. He doesn't he's 6,500 on DraftKings. It's not like he's a free square at 4,500 or something. So, you know, part of me, I feel like as a, contrarian player, I want to fade Josh Jacobs at this level of projected ownership, but where are you at on him?
Yeah, I don't hate it. Like you said, he's at least a touchdown. I think it's 7.5 technically the last time I checked. 7.5 point home favorite versus a defense. I think they're like 28th in DraftKings points against.
Pretty good spot.
It's a good spot. And like you said, even if somehow the Texans, a 7.5 point spread, teams cover that all the time. If they do end up keeping it close, like you said, I think he has 16 targets in just his past 3 games. To me, like I actually don't mind fading Geno, Joe Burrow, Derek Carr, maybe even the high price guys, because like Mahomes, probably sub 5% again, is just sitting there. I just don't care about the defense he's facing. I don't care that I can't choose which one of his receivers I want. Like, I feel like we said this last year and he was slumping too, and it was financially crippling for me. It's Patrick Mahomes at less than 5%. How do you not play this guy? But he hasn't also been like the goofy Jameis Winston level mistakes this year, right? He doesn't look as near like that first 8 game stretch last year.
Can they play Sky Moore? Can they just play Sky Moore, please?
No, you're asking for far too much from this team. Mecole Hardman's got to get in his 42% route.
We got to get Mecole Hardman in, who's done like literally the exact same thing for 4 years in a row, and they're still like, oh, maybe there's more here.
But because I like Mahomes, I don't feel nearly as bad about like eating some Jacobs chalk. I don't even feel bad, especially about like Kenneth Walker, who's the next player. The next player in ownership, almost certainly, because 5,800 for him, where he's getting almost every single one of the carries. He's out carried DJ Dallas in the past 2 weeks, 29-3, I think. And he actually ran a route on something like 40% of Geno Smith's dropbacks. It's not a ton, but it's like the icing on the cake type of deal with Jacobs. A little less so, but it at least means he doesn't have only one out, which is 100 yards and a touchdown. So, and even though Kenneth Walker certainly will be popular, if he scores 2 rushing touchdowns, you're probably not getting there with Geno Smith. So actually don't hate the chalk at running back. I think there are still some interesting pivots, but to me, the pivots are paying up for running back, at least at one of your spots, probably not both, but at least at one of them. Whereas I don't really feel great about like some other 50, 5,900, 6,100 pivot at running back. If I am doing that, there's like 1, maybe 2 options, but I'd really rather just pay up.
So here's one thing I'm definitely doing is a Herbert double with Kenneth Walker coming back, because I like Kenneth Walker's big play skill set can kind of help speed up this game, kind of like Derrick Henry. He can hit those long runs and speed up games, get passing on the other side. So that's something that definitely intrigues me. I don't know about playing Walker like as solo chalk. I don't love that as much. I'd rather try to correlate it with Herbert having a pass on the other side and everything. Fournette is the other guy. It looks like he's gonna be pretty chalky. Damian Pierce as well, Brees Hall as well, Joe Mixon. So thoughts on some of this other running back chalk? Brees Hall jumps out to me. You were talking about this on the preview show on Rotoworld Football Show yesterday, that he's like pretty game script insulated. You know, he's not going to get scripted out of this game. they're like throwing to him. I tweeted out yesterday, just made everyone sad and mad that he has a higher ADOT than George Kittle, but it's true. Okay, you can't silence me. Brees Hall actually has a higher ADOT than George Kittle. Like, he's actually getting targeted down the field. So if the Jets are, playing from behind, and they won't be too far behind in this game, but I think he has. It's hard to see him failing. At the same time, maybe this game environment doesn't give him the highest ceiling, and you want ceiling if you're going to be eating chalk there.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be. I wouldn't call him chalky, right? I think maybe he'll be like between 10 and 15%, something like that. Okay. But I do think Josh Jacobs is just a slam dunk, such an obvious spot. And Kenneth Walker, though, I believe he's an underdog. They're on the road to the Chargers, so he definitely is an underdog this week. Has at least some utility as a receiver. At least they're using him, almost half, just under half of the team's routes. And more importantly, it's a terrible Chargers rush defense. They're still like bottom 5, bottom 6, I think, in rush EPA per play allowed. They've barely come up from where they were last year. They were 6 feet beneath the basement. Now they're just in the basement. So I think those two will absorb a lot of ownership. Brees Hall and Damian Pierce won't go overlooked, but they're both playing somewhat similar roles. I mean, Damian Pierce's role, frankly, has been really strong. He's got like a 18% target share and now nearly 90% of the team's carries in the past 3 weeks. He's not like a great pass catcher. He's honestly not doing a lot with his pass catching work, but it's DraftKings, it's PPR. Like take the 3 or 4 catches and be happy that you got it. And he is running at an elite level. Like he is one of the better like graded running backs per Pro Football Focus. So even though he is an underdog, like I don't know, we've seen the Raiders blow plenty of games. I think Pierce as like maybe even a pivot off of Josh Jacobs. Like imagine.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. How do you think the field handles this? Because I feel like in 2022, there's a chance that like they come in pretty close. Is like all of the Galaxy brainers do a direct pivot off of Jacobs to Pierce, knowing that no one's playing them together, right? That's not going to be a popular thing to do. So there's going to be this like potential contrarian levels of thinking where like maybe Jacobs doesn't come in quite as high as people think. Or what are your thoughts on that?
I kind of don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, Jacobs is like, when you run.
So then Pierce might be lower than people think because they're not getting played together, right?
Probably not. I don't think like there's a strong negative correlation between running backs, especially when both have roles in the pass catching game. We've seen over the past 3 weeks, past 3 games, Texans had a bye, but over the past 3 games, Damian Pierce actually run more routes than Rex Burkhead. Like he's pushing for 3 down roll. He's not quite there yet, but he's not far off. And Josh Jacobs, like we pointed out, also doing well as a pass catcher. So
it's a lot of chalk to eat though too. So
yeah, definitely. I think I still think Damian Pierce probably comes in under-owned relative to like what his optimal rate would be. I struggle to grasp Josh Jacobs because it's such a good spot. Like I think he's probably fine in the context of don't play him with your Geno Smith double stack or like your Burrow single to chase or whatever. But if you're like me and you're playing Mahomes, or if you're going down to like maybe even Jared Goff, that game looks awesome. It's not the best matchup for Goff, but like game environment looks good, and Lions game environments -1, awful Patriots game have just been the sickest. So if you're doing something like goofy like that, I don't mind playing Jacobs. If you're not, that's where like you want to get into like the Pierce or the pay up territory. So I don't think Pierce will be that popular. I think he'll be less than half the ownership of Jacobs, comfortably less than half, honestly.
Okay. What other kind of pivot spots? Any like lower owned guys? You mentioned a couple times paying up for running back. Who would that be that you're targeting there?
The best thing about Derrick Henry is that you can just say he doesn't catch passes. He's an underdog running back. Why are we playing him at 20%? And then when he goes into a decent game, but he's going to be, 9, 6, 7, something like that, it's Derrick Henry. Of course you should play him at low ownership. And I think that is probably true of most players in general, right? Is that like, especially good players, like I think it's different for just like weird cheap value receivers or whatever. But like anytime a truly talented player is not going to be particularly popular, like that's kind of just a good shorthand, right? We should probably be more advanced with the way we think about these things. But when Derrick Henry's going to be like 7-8% owned, that's a good shorthand to when you should play Derrick Henry. Maybe push like 12 or 13, but I don't even think he'll be the most popular pay up option. I think because Austin Eckler plays in such a good game environment and has just been sun running with his touchdowns, he'll be
I think he might be brought along with doubles as well because people aren't going to feel comfortable with Allen.
Exactly. That was my thought as well. So I want to go to Derrick Henry because he's not only is he Derrick Henry, he's got like 70 carries in his past 3 games, 2 games over 100 yards, and he scored I think in every game but one this year. Right now, I believe he has actually in his past 3 games, it is his highest, tied with a stretch last year, highest 3-game mark for targets, 13, I believe, in a 3-game stretch. It's not great usage, but like if you tell me Derrick Henry runs for 150, 2 touchdowns, you throw in like 2 for 30 on there, like it's another 5 points. Like that's how Derrick Henry can kind of match the ceiling of someone like probably Joe Mixon is like the ceiling you want him to match, but he's better as a runner than Joe Mixon. So to me, you want to sort of buy the dip on someone like him. And I believe he's a favorite this week. He's a home favorite versus an Indy defense that is like middling in terms of rush EPA.
All right, let's get to some start sit questions here. I'm going back to the top of the chat. Keep firing them in. We'll have another. I probably won't get to any questions you put in now, but we will answer some more questions later. You only have to throw the question in once. Clyde or Kenyon Drake?
Yeah, this is the one I almost brought up because we don't know the status yet, but I don't think Dobbins practiced today. A Friday DNP, like he's not playing, right?
Yeah.
So Kenyon Drake will be I don't know if I can get there. It seems so fragile. Both for this question and for DFS, but like it'll be interesting. I think
it's Kenyon if Dobbins is out.
I like they were it's hard for me. Didn't they healthy scratch Kenyon Drake when they got J.K. Dobbins back, and then obviously they brought him back when Justice Hill got hurt. But the fact that the team values him so little that they're like, yeah, like if Justice Hill is available, you're not going to play this week. I really think that's like a fragile play. Like if Mike Davis,
it is a fragile play. You know what else is a fragile play?
No.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
They're favorites this week. It's fine. Whenever they're favorites, that's when I want to play Clyde.
All right, we're at a standstill here because I will not be touting Clyde Edwards-Helaire. All right, start Matt Ryan or Tom Brady this week. Concerned Brady might not need to do much against the Panthers. Yes, we are concerned about that. Or are you concerned enough to start Matt Ryan?
Not that level of concern because we've seen the Bucs have done the thing where they go super high pass rate over expected. This would be a spot that will really, really push them to not have to throw the football, right? You want to know if they're truly philosophically committed to passing the ball again, win 35-0 against the Panthers. That's how we'll find out. But I'm willing to bet into that over Matt Ryan, who like really has shown us one like good NFL football game. I think he's gotten there on volume a few other times. Last week was genuinely good in the sense that he didn't have to do too much. They mostly kept his ADOT below 6, but he was hitting all the layups, right? It was, Drew Brees-esque. I'm not so confident that is going to continue and going to work that I would start him over Brady.
I'm with you. And I think like Brady's going to want to get in there, get his 3-4 touchdowns and then sit down. Right. Like I think he's going to be kind of like wanting to play quick and play aggressive.
Let's wrap this up.
Let's be done. Let's be done. Yeah. So he would love to be, on the bench by halfway through the third quarter, which he very well might be, but I still think he could outscore Matt Ryan in like 2.5 quarters. Yep. All right. Need to start one. Najee or James Robinson? Oh my God. You're going to get us to top Najee here.
I think it's still Najee Harris.
His
snap stuff doesn't look great right now, but they've also had some they had one at least blowout loss where he almost didn't play at all the fourth quarter. Like and that was the same for his hurry up
he's still like in the 60s. He's still a clear lead back.
Yeah, still a clear lead back. Whereas like James Robinson, especially with what we saw last week, I would just be willing to play the matchup underdogs, Jags underdogs. I play Travis Etienne, Jags favorites. I play James Robinson. The fact that they've introduced a third back, JaMychal Hasty of all running backs, now I don't even feel as confident that I'm getting 60% of his snaps in the win. Now I'm I'm getting 48. That's not great.
I'm also, I don't really buy into that narrative as much because I think there's such a talent difference between Robinson and ETN that I'm just kind of ETN or bust at this point. Especially because, there's the snaps counts are going to be low for both guys with Hasty in there. The Hasty stuff, 16% snap share for Hasty last week is a problem. We can handle 2-man backfield. Yes. Have you heard this before? We can't handle 3. All right. What Giants would you start this week? We can't answer. You got to give us we're going to start this guy or this guy. What Giants? I guess Saquon. There's your answer. Saquon.
That's a good one. Yeah. He's good.
Anyone else?
He's good.
All right. How long does it take me to do the walkthrough? Like literally the whole week. I start writing it. It takes me the whole week, guys. Brian Robinson against Green Bay.
Yeah, I don't hate this one. He got like nearly all the carries. It was like 17 of 20 something, low 20s team carries. I am worried that he looks so inefficient that we see a resurgence of Antonio Gibson, who looked straight up significantly better than him last week. They were putting Brian Robinson in spots to like fail and tank the offense because it was just nonstop 1st and 10 runs. Like if you're locking yourself in for 2nd and 8, and then on 2nd and 8, you're like, let's run it back. That's a recipe for disaster. And it doesn't help that they're now starting a backup quarterback who will be even doing less on these 3rd and 6s or whatever they're in. But I still think it's a fine spot enough. Like his role, at least on the ground, is good enough that he's a flex-ish guy.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of touchdown dependent situation, but Green Bay's so bad at defending the run, and Washington's going to do everything they can to hide Taylor Heineke, who's going to lead to even more inefficient offense than we saw last week. So it's not a great spot. He only had 49% of the snaps, I believe, 48 last week. So you actually need Robinson to get like more playing time. And there's a case, as Kyle just laid out, that he could see less. So it's kind of boom bust, I think. But I don't think depends, I guess, who you're deciding between. But he's certainly in play. All right. Murphy asks, who should I start in my flex from Jags Giants? Christian Kirk or Wan'Dale Robinson? Come on, Murph. What are we doing? Wan'Dale Robinson played like 30% of the snaps last week. We're not starting Wan'Dale Robinson. It's not time yet. Now I'm happy for you that you have him. I think he's going to be good, but you're not ready to start Wan'Dale Robinson, right, Kyle?
Yep, correct.
Okay. All right, 2 quarterback league. I need 2. Brady, Carr, and Jimmy G.
The first 2.
Yeah, I think I'm the first 2. It's not a bad week to start Jimmy G, though.
No, there are worse weeks, yeah.
Yeah. PPR flex, Dylan, Judy, or Brian Robinson. Just got burned by Rondale.
Yeah, lining. Oh my god, the fade to the 5-7 receiver, deep outside fade. Oh my god, did you see that? Were you watching the game last night?
I watched the first half, and then I saw the double pick sixes, and I was like, I need to get this article done.
I don't know when it was, but they threw Rondale lined up as the farthest outside receiver, just ran a fade, and couldn't bring it in, and got called for OPI on it or something like that. It was awful. I guess I go Judy.
Oh, that was before the half. Yeah. And he like juggled it like he was doing like a bit.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Brutal. I think I go Judy here.
I think I'm Brian Robinson because we might have Brett Ripien throwing the ball here.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Okay, Brian Robinson.
Yeah. But if you get Wilson, I think maybe Judy. Half point PPR. I need to start one. Bateman if he plays. Pickens might be shadowed by Xavier Howard or Sutton. Russ might not play. Yeah, and Sauce Gardner. Where are you at? I think
it'd be Sutton. Bateman over Sutton if it was Brett Ripien. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Bateman over Sutton if it's Brett Ripien. Now, the issue with Bateman is sprained foot. He wasn't running all the routes before the sprained foot. He's probably not running all the routes in the first game back from the sprained foot. So you're talking like probably like a 55% route rate for Bateman compared to like a 97% route rate for Sutton. That's a pretty big difference.
Okay, I'm back on Sutton. Brett Ripien wasn't terrible in his lone start. I think it was a win over the Jets. He threw for like 2 scores. I think like
how much worse is he going to be than Russ?
Like, yeah, I know, right? Dude, Russ is playing like garbage. It's unreal.
Yeah, he's playing like Brett Ripien. All right. Expectation for Stevenson if Harris plays and Keenan play Keenan or Sutton this week.
I think I want to be optimistic about Stevenson, but the team does like Damian Harris, and he is generally a pretty good runner. I think in his first game back, though, it's probably still like a 60-40 split for Stevenson. And most importantly, I don't care entirely if it's a 50-50 split. Like, they're in a great spot against a below-average rush defense by EPA, massive favorites. Their opposing offense has, the way they play, they have zero chance to actually establish any sort of control, even maintain long drives. So even if Stevenson straight up 50-50 splits it with Harris again, like that's probably still good for like 14 carries and maybe a catch or 2 as well. So to me, It's definitely a downgrade, but I'm still starting Stevenson almost everywhere I have him. I'd have to have a really good roster not to start him.
I'm with you. And I think it's a similar situation with Sutton. If Ripien goes, I'd probably start Keenan Allen. Now, Keenan Allen's health is another major concern, so that's something you have to really keep an eye on. He's burned us before by playing and then not really being healthy. My guess is if he plays, because they have a bye after this week, right?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't thought about that.
I think they do. So if he decides to go, he must be healthy enough that they didn't rest him for another week during the bye and then brought him back week 9. So I think it's like maybe slightly more bullish than usual if he decides to go.
Yep.
And so I think I would probably play him over Sutton with Ripien, but that's still very close, even with Ripien, I think. Dameon Pierce, Ken Walker, Breece Hall, start 2. Man, congratulations, Zach. Nice running back core there.
I think I will go with Ken Walker and Breece. Like, just the low team total underdogs for Dameon Pierce. I mean, like, it's a tough call. Pierce is we talked about him, running backs. Pierce is, I think, legit still a good play, but they're pretty big dogs in this game. They don't have a decent implied team total. Breece Hall is just seeing so much work that I'm not as afraid of him being a dog. And Ken Walker faces a terrible run defense. So I'll take Walker and Hall, but you got yourself a squad.
That's where I'm at. I think kind of bet on talent. I feel more confident in Hall and Walker, although Pierce has shown a lot of talent as well. Man. So, but yeah, I think the Texans, you could just blow it, right? And then there's just not much value here. Now, this is a bit of a low-key brag here from Zach because he's saying full PPR start 2. Now, presumably this league has a flex. So he's got a flex so good that he's not even considering putting Dameon Pierce in the flex. So, Zach, I get what you did here. Congratulations on a very strong fantasy roster. Elijah Mitchell, now that CMC is playing for the 49ers this week. Elijah Mitchell, I believe is still on IR, right? You mean Jeff Wilson?
I thought this was maybe just like a long-term outlook question for Eli Mitchell, but it does say this week. Yeah, he's still definitely on IR. The timeline for him was like 2 months before he was going to be.
He's contingency hold. I hope that you're stashing him in an IR slot, but
that's the only way I think you could even argue he's worth holding is if you have the free square IR.
I agree. Spot. If you don't, I think you probably just toss him back. It's CMT. All right, in half PPR, need to start 2 from this lot of players: Wandale, George Pickens, Tyler Algier, Damian Harris, and Rashad Bateman. Need to start 2.
Pickens and Harris. I will say, monitor closely. I assume does Rotoworld.com still work? It still links you back to our site, right? That's still my
Rotoworld.com.
That's my tab. I still have that saved, so it should work. That's the tab I linked to.
Rotoworld.com.
Yeah. Because I know Damian Harris is back at practice, but Bill Belichick does the dumbest stuff with his practice reports. I hate him. So just check in on that just to be safe. I'm pretty sure Harris is playing, and that's why I take Harris and Pickens.
I think I'd go Pickens and Bateman, but I just don't have much faith. I don't have much faith in, and to be honest, I think I'm Algier over Harris because I think the Falcons might be forced to throw a little bit, and he's had 59% of snaps the last 2 weeks. He's got, I believe, 70% of the third down snaps. Yeah. So if the game picks up, he might have more work.
I hate the Falcons. I'm not doing the Falcons thing this week.
I know. It's not going to work. I'm doing it, and if you follow me, just know that I'm wrong. I will victory lap it if I'm right, though. I'm just not.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, I'm trying to make this an all upside spot. Okay, this is someone responding. Do we really feel confident about Mike Evans this week? Feels like he underperformed most of the season. Last week was definitely a big letdown. I will note that Evans was tied for the week lead in double teams faced. So that's, maybe one reason why it wasn't so great for him. But that's probably something he can expect to deal with, fairly regularly. So I don't know. I guess you need a touchdown because he's not going to be out there for the whole game. So
I'm fine with him, though. I still think I have him ranked as like wide receiver 15, 16, 13 maybe. It's kind of a light week. I might even have him a little higher.
That seems right. Pick a quarterback between these wretched options: Russ, Daniel Jones, Ryan Tannehill, or Marcus Mariota.
I assume my bet is that you go Mariota. I'm going Daniel Jones.
No, I think I'm Daniel Jones too.
Okay, cool. Easy.
Mariota, they're just gonna. I mean, Mariota has outcomes where he throws like 7 times or whatever, and I just don't think you need to like introduce that. Like, I would be more if you're asking me who I would play in DFS, I'd play Mariota because I think the ceiling's higher.
I agree.
There's like no reason to put a guy with the floor as low as Mariota in your season-long lineup. I think
he's got the lowest like non-bench, if you count injuries, like non-bench, non-injury based floor for a quarterback. So he really could. Like they go out and keep this game surprisingly close. He literally could complete 6 passes.
So this is the most formal YouTube profile name I've ever seen in my life. This is a guy, Josh Ross Thomas. He's got Josh Thomas the third. He's telling us what he does, his position at the company, and he would also like to know, if forced to pick, would we take D'Onta Foreman versus Tampa Bay or Latavius Murray versus the Jets this week? It's easy for me.
D'Onta Foreman, I assume, right?
It's Foreman. Foreman. Yeah, I just think that Murray, like, it could go away, you know, and it's
totally. I mean, Hackett called Melvin Gordon the starter again this week. I mean, I don't entirely buy that, but it at least tells me that probably for the first drive, depending on how Melvin Gordon does, we're not going to see Latavius Murray. If Melvin Gordon does well, it's probably not Latavius Murray for a while. And then you still have to contend with Mike Boone. Like, you can handle 2, you can't handle 3, and this is 3.
Yes. All right, flex option: Ayuk, Sutton, or Pollard.
I might go Ayuk over Sutton now that we have Brett. Like, that's a good looking game, and the Chiefs have really given it up to wide receivers.
Yeah, I'm Ayuk too. Half-point PPR. Who would you start? Who should I start in the flex? Christian Kirk, Brian Robinson, Jerry Jeudy, or Njoku?
Kirk.
Yeah, I'm Kirk as well. All right, let's go back and throw in your questions still. We'll get to some more at the end here. Let's talk some DFS though, real quick. Let me get this off the screen. Let's talk some wide receivers, Kyle. What wide receivers are jumping out to you? I guess, like, you know, I like T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I told you I like Burrow, so that's not a surprise exactly. I don't know if those are like that's a double though, so I'm gonna have to make some decisions there. CeeDee Lamb looks like he'll be really popular. Tyler Lockett should be popular again. What are your thoughts on the wide receiver position?
Yeah, I mean, this is generally, not always, but generally true, is that whenever we get really chalky receivers, just receiver is such a volatile position. It's, for most players, it's 8 instances, 8 like interactions, whereas like you think about in basketball, like LeBron has like 60 interactions a game or something like that. So if CeeDee Lamb or Tyler Lockett, Tyler Lockett gets 4 deep shots, 4 short shots, all 4 on the deep don't connect. Like he didn't get 6 targets last week. The floor on these guys, for most receivers, not all, but a lot of receivers, is pretty low, and they're just highly variant. So I'm pretty willing to dip down in just like some unique plays. I love looking at this game. I don't mind playing CeeDee Lamb, but like Amon-Ra and Michael Gallup should be considerably less owned in this game. And like, I get that the Cowboys have a pretty good defense, but like, so do the Eagles. And that game was one of the most fun games of the year, week 1 opener, I believe. I have enough faith that truly the Lions have a ton of talent on offense. I have enough faith that at least in garbage time, if not in, the first 3 quarters, they can make this game a really awesome scoring environment. So I love going to Amon-Ra. I get maybe people are worried off of one bad game last week. Probably wasn't fully healthy in that game. Now he gets the week of rest.
He didn't play. He barely played. Like he wasn't. He's easing back in. He was the cover boy of the walkthrough this week. Love Amon-Ra St. Brown. I love the Michael Gallup call. I feel like that's a nice kind of leverage pivot spot off of, like, even if Amon-Ra gets steamed, the CD's going to soak up all the Dallas ownership. I think. I don't see how Michael Gallup possibly gets steamed. Absolutely. So if you have like a nice little low owned mini, and maybe it's a medium owned mini correlation between Amon-Ra St. Brown and Michael Gallup, but it's still, I think that one's still pretty fun. Also save you some salary off CD, so maybe you can do some more interesting stuff at running back. What about DeAndre Swift? I know we kind of already talked about running backs, but the Amon-Ra point has me thinking, like, I am a little bit more optimistic about the Lions than I think some other people are. Not that I think they're going to be like great, but they're going to be able to get the ball out quickly to Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think the Eagles did some interesting stuff with Micah Parsons last week, kind of maybe laid out a template of like, quick passing game that I could be able to roll Jared Goff out the way, the Eagles can roll out Jalen Hurts, but there's some, potential ways that they're not just getting completely blown up here by this pass rush. And they've got players in DeAndre Swift and Amon-Ra St. Brown who can get targets very close to the line of scrimmage very quickly. They can help alleviate that pressure.
Yeah, on DeAndre Swift, it's like interesting. I still he definitely isn't fully healthy. Like the last quote on it was that he's pushing toward playing. I think he plays. He was limited in Thursday's practice. I haven't checked his status today, but like the fact that he's pushing toward playing, he still isn't fully back. Like I do think even if he's healthy, we'll see a decent amount of Jamal Williams. Maybe though, that's just like the fear you need to get him. This is the last time. I think this one failed. We got Gabe Davis. Everyone saying I got to bench Gabe Davis this week. We're like, hold the faith. You play Gabe Davis for these spots. And he jammed. He absolutely jammed. That was the week he went, 170-2. We also did the same thing with Swift. The ownership, I believe we got correct in that people were like, oh, Swift's banging it up. I don't know if it's going to work. And I think he scored 16. I think it was when he played Washington. He was a little banged up or whatever. Maybe this week 3 when he completely busted. But like, maybe these are the spots like you just need to fade that sort of fear and be like, dude, he's a really good running back. He has like incredible breakaway speed. He's actually like running between the tackles football better than he has
much better
at any point in his career. And he's a great pass catcher. Maybe that's sort of the uncertainty you want to just dive into. So maybe I'll talk myself into a Swift lineup.
Okay. I'm kind of there too. I'm like, maybe I'll talk myself into it. I don't like love it, but certainly interesting. What jumps out to you here? I mean, like, to be honest, like there's no wide receivers that are really jumping out as like, oh man, like that's such a great play. Amon-Ra St. Brown really is the one. I mean, CD is a great play, but the field is well aware of that.
Correct.
I guess the Bengals guys, are you as excited about those guys as I am?
I mean, I think they'll be pretty popular. I think Joe Burrow is going to be like a top 5 rostered quarterback. They have a really good implied team total. Falcons, although I think teams have generally run the football on them, they have a terrible defense both ways as well. They're still not a good defense by EPA per pass attempt. So I think they'll both be somewhat popular. Not as popular as probably not as popular as the the most owned. I assume it'll be Tyler Lockett, the most owned Seattle player. I think their cumulative ownership won't be as high as Seattle's, but I don't think it means they'll be contrarian. I like Amari Cooper this week. Amari Cooper has been like quietly establishing himself as like truly an elite receiver in terms of his market share. Obviously, it's a cut of a smaller pie because the Browns run the football, but like up until especially like the past week or two, Jacoby Brissett's been actually a pretty competent middle of the road starting quarterback in terms of his EPA. And they face like the ultimate pass funnel this week. The Ravens still haven't figured out their stuff in the secondary, and they still have a good defense against the run. Teams have chosen to pass at them, averaging like 260 something, almost 270 passing yards per game. And we have Amari Cooper with like a top 15 weighted opportunity rating. He's been just really strong as a receiver this year, has double-digit targets in all but 2 games. So if you're getting all of that volume against defense that like they give it up to receivers, I don't see why you couldn't do that. And it's a really good way. Like, I don't think Lamar Jackson's going to be super chalk, but he will be at least, people know who Lamar Jackson is. He'll be a really good way to run it back.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love that call. I think I mentioned yesterday on the Rotoworld football show that on our preview pod that Amari Cooper's really struggled in yards per target. Yards per target is not something to put stock into. It bounces around. It's very volatile. The fact that he's getting those targets is what's really important, and he is getting targeted at a super high rate. The passing offense is built around Amari Cooper, and more so than you might think because David Njoku is running hot in yards per target. So he's potentially facing some negative regression headwinds. Amari Cooper could have some positive regression in his back. You got me excited about him, and I like, that kind of opening up this Baltimore stuff. With the Baltimore stuff, are you interested at all in going to the receivers there, or is it just kind of a Mark Andrews single with Amari Cooper coming back?
It's probably a Mark Andrews single, but I mean, if Bateman suits up, like I'm definitely concerned that they really don't play him a ton. But like, he is a dude they don't have to play him a ton. Like 3 catches, like he has what, like a 14 or 15 ADOT, I believe. Like he is a guy who can just get home on such a few amount of plays that I think most of my lineups would end up being, if Lamar Jackson, probably Mark Andrews. But I could see Mark Andrews just scores 1, doesn't get the 100-yard bonus. He's not the tight end you have to have because that's something you can achieve with someone else, or at least close enough to it at a far lower price. Whereas like Bateman gets, he has like the Gabe Davis type of game. It's probably never going to be that good, but has the few long catches type of game. Maybe I will play a little bit of him. Someone mentioned, I would talk about Ayuk. I like Ayuk. I think as far as this game goes, people generally head toward Deebo Samuel, been really strong. But Ayuk last week, like, definitely made it look like it could truly be more of a 1A, 1B. Led the team with 11 targets. He's got 3 games over 8 targets this year. He's like, I love Deebo Samuel. I think Deebo Samuel should be 30% target share, 40% air yard share type of guy. Ayuk's legitimately playing really well too, though. So don't hate him. Juju, dude, I hate these Chiefs receivers, but like, they've made it so clear. They play 2 guys on nearly every snap. Both Juju and MVS are over 80% route rate. This week, Juju faces a 49ers defense that's top 5 in zone coverage, and he's been good against zone coverage. He's been targeting 24% of his routes against zone, leads the team in target share against zone. Got home last week against zone. Like, if you're playing Mahomes, you play the guys who play every snap with him. And Juju even saw his snaps increase last week. He ran around in like 94, 95% of Mahomes dropbacks.
That's true.
Like,
yeah.
It got even better. And he played better too. That's really what we want. He just needs to play better. So, and MVS is so.
Did he play better? He caught the ball. He spun around. The guy fell down, and then
all right,
there were
film
like
guy.
8 guys over on the other side of the field. They were chilling. They were like getting like Gatorade instead of playing defense. They're like, oh, they try to chase Juju down from like 100 yards away, and he had such a head start. If it was 80 yards, they would have caught him, but 100 yards they had to run. I mean, it was. Did he play better? Seriously? I don't think.
Dude, he can't have played worse than he played. He caught the football. He can hardly catch footballs in the first few games.
Yeah. All right. This is the Falcons. The way you feel about me trying to get you excited about the Falcons is how I feel about you trying to get me excited about Juju.
Can we get MVS? Can you do an MVS?
I don't think I can do anyone but Kelsey. It's Kelsey, and then I'm just waiting until they play Sky Moore. And I'm just sitting it out. I'm saving money. I'm saving my money instead of just burning it on Patrick Mahomes every week. I'll burn it once we can burn it on Sky Moore.
Deal. All
right, let's talk tight end here. Anyone? I mean, Mark Andrews obviously is kind of like the guy. We've got some Foster Moreau touting. We've got some K-Dot touting. It seems like, is this a week where you kind of just go Andrews or punt, or is there like a case to be made for like a Kittle or someone kind of in the middle?
For you, because you are optimistic about, or at least you buy into the upside of the Falcons being pushed by the Bengals. Kyle Pitts at 4,300.
It's pretty good.
To me, I would rather go Kittle with my Mahomes stacks. Generally, the Chiefs have gotten beaten by wide receivers, so like top 5 in fantasy points allowed to receivers. But Kittle's just a receiver. Like he's just a legit, really talented player. And we saw last week, finally, like, I don't want to say he got on the board, but 8 for 83, 10 targets. He's still running routes on well over 80% of the team's dropbacks. His snap share is well over that as well. Like, he's normal George Kittle. They've just got other good receivers, and they're not like an elite offense. This is what George Kittle does. It's like his hallmark is going like looking at his game log last year, 4 for 34, does score, but 13 fantasy points, 1 for 13, no touchdowns. The next 2 weeks, 181, 151, 3 combined touchdowns. Like,
it does get tough when it hasn't happened in so long, though, because then it's like,
you start to think if something's changed.
Eventually, the way this is going to end, it's not going to end with his last game being a blow-up game. It's going to end with a long series of games of him never doing it again. And we're going, but he's going to do it eventually. I'm starting to worry a little bit, to be honest. But, tight end is a volatile position. That point's well taken. He's probably the most volatile one of them. Thoughts on these punts? Foster Moreau, K. Dotton. Are we doing that? Are we going there?
Greg Dulcich as well.
Greg Dulcich,
79% of dropbacks last week. They healthy scratched Albert O. Like, he's the tight end one for this team, and is not particularly close, honestly. With Brett Rypien, you start to like question it a little bit. I thought Greg Dulcich, and I mean, we didn't know for sure that we were going to have Foster Moreau or K. Dotton, although K. Dotton was always pretty likely. We didn't know we would have these guys. Greg Dulcich, the cheapest possible on DraftKings at 2,500 because he played Monday night. Couldn't price him up. Or was that Sunday night? I don't remember. All these primetime games are terrible. I still kind of think he'll be the most popular just because the fact that he probably projects for the same role as Foster Moreau or K. Dotton. He's 200 cheaper. Why would you not just go to him? So to me, I'd probably end up pivoting to the other ones because they're the same thing. They're the exact same thing. They're all within $300 of each other. That's kind of something. Who do you think will be more popular? I still think it's Dulcich, especially coming off an actual good game.
I don't think it'll be Dulcich because we're going to get Rypien.
That's true.
And so I feel like that'll scare people off. Now, I could be totally wrong about that. It could easily be Dulcich just because of the price. I haven't really built a bunch of lineups yet, so I don't know how much I need that extra salary. $200 or $300 if you're going to Otto Moreau. But I don't know. I mean, like, as someone who wants to play Dulcich, I'm actually not scared by Ripien. I feel like, it's such a low bar for what you need at that price tag that you're probably right that it is him ultimately.
Yeah, so
all right.
if this plays out like we think it will, I just go to Moreau. He's actually could be a decent run back for like a Damian Pierce, or if you want to play Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks
play
always
Dulcich.
Yeah.
we play Dulcich. We don't eat the chalk tight end unless it's Greg Dulcich.
Unless it's the ones I like. If it's the ones I like, we play.
If it's someone that I've been touting nonstop since he was drafted, then we play him. Then we play him in the first main slate we go. All right, let's go to some start sits here to close this out. Try to get to all of them. We might be able to do it. All right. Do you think CMC plays this week? If so, effect on Devo. I think he plays very small, maybe not at all. And if it does have an effect, it's good. We get Devo running a little bit of deeper routes. Thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know why people are obsessed with Devo as a running back. Like, it's cool, it's neat, it's fun, but like, please just give me Deebo Samuel 30% target share and a bunch of air yards. Like, we don't.
You know why, Kyle? Because we care more about ceiling in general, and I feel like there's a general the comfy thing of like, I know I can plug Deebo in because he's going to get touches one way or another. Feels good, but like, this makes him more volatile. But I think it really does. What we're excited about is that it unlocks. He's got this, awesome downfield play. You're getting that same yak ability, but it's starting like 30 yards downfield instead of at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, this is what we want for him. I don't think CMC plays much this week. Like, didn't we see with Robbie? I don't know how much he played, but I don't think he did anything. What is he going to get? I assume he's there, able to practice today, but they didn't unless he knew a little.
And everything. I don't see how he plays more than like 10 snaps or something.
So yeah, he's gonna get a Saturday walkthrough, I assume. I can't imagine he's like practicing today. Maybe he is, but like, he's gonna get 2 practices. That's probably not enough to really do anything with him. I don't think he plays this week, but for the long term, it's good for Deebo.
Foreman or Latavius Murray or Chuba Hubbard filling in for Miles Sanders. That would be Deontay Foreman for me, or Rachaad White. I might just go White, man. Just play for the blowout.
I'd go for Foreman, but I get it. I don't think White's like a bad play in this spot.
All right. Do you think Carolina might hyper target DJ Moore this week? Look, man, I would love to tell you yes, but I think the correct answer is no. And you don't start PJ Walker receivers unless it's discussion on DFS, which I forgot to ask you about. Can we play him? Can we pull it off?
No, that's
a practice today.
That's a terrible idea. That's a bad idea, and you shouldn't do it.
Come on, he's gonna take the CMC role.
I think they will. God, I think they will hyper target DJ Moore, not because they need to bump his value, but because most of the rest of the players on that team are downright dreadful. And to reach the next step, I don't think it matters because PJ Walker is bad. I don't. It almost like, how many targets would you feel comfortable starting DJ Moore? If I told you 9 targets, I assume that one's a no.
I would start DJ Moore at 9 targets.
9? He got 7 last week, and I think he caught 2 for 7 yards.
I'd still start him though, just like based purely like, that's a lot of targets.
It was a lot of targets.
9, I'm starting him.
I think I need to get 10 minimum.
You need minimum 10. Wow.
Yes.
I mean, I would say like if you told me 8, I'm probably already like not starting him. So I don't know. 9 was my min.
We're not that far off, so
yeah. All right. Wan'Dale Robinson, Nico Collins, or George Pickens in half-point PPR.
Pickens.
This is, I actually don't. I don't think it's like a slam dunk for Pickens. I think this could be Collins. I think Collins' role over the last few weeks has been really strong. So
I don't play Davis Mills receivers on my team, but that's fine.
All right, fine. I'll go Pickens. You've shamed me. I traded Hunt for Hopkins / Mostert. Oh my God! What did I say? What did I say? We don't answer. You already made it. Congratulations on making a trade. It's hard to pull off. I'm not telling you who won. Who's the number 1 in Carolina? I like Foreman slightly over Hubbard. Need to start 2. Pollard, Aaron Jones, or Ramondre.
Ramondre and Aaron Jones.
That's correct. Herbert is my quarterback. Chubb or Keenan Allen at the flex.
Still Chubb?
Still Chubb.
Still Chubb, yeah. Still Chubb.
Yeah. We don't know about Keenan's health. Sit one
Even
between.
if we did, dude, Chubb's great.
Even if we did, it's still Chubb. Yeah. Swift, Pierce, Walker. Sit one.
I'm sitting Swift till I see what they do with him. Like I don't think you're giving up that much in equity going to Pierce or Walker, who both have great roles too. But like, there is a legit like 5. I mean, we saw, I think his stat line was like 5 carries, 3 or 4 targets in like one of his last 2 weeks. So I'm sitting
that's
Swift.
Probably prudent. Yeah. All right. Bull says Pierce on that. All right. Jimmy G, Matt Ryan, or Pickett this week and beyond.
Pickett. I kind of like that game. I think it's
I like Pickett too.
Game of these,
yeah. Pickett's splashing. I like him. Bandit giving us the smash that like button for the boys. Please do. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Keenan Allen or Christian Kirk.
It's probably Christian Kirk. We were talking about like making safe choices today, specifically when it's not costing you on upside. Guys, don't drink and drive.
Yeah, we're being responsible. I'm not as responsible as Kyle. I'm going to go Keenan Allen here if he goes.
All right, let's do it.
The role is really shrunk for Christian Kirk, and I don't really like this game environment.
That's fair. All right, let's do it. Keenan Allen.
Kenyon Drake or Jeff Wilson?
Kenyon Drake, yeah.
I think it's Kenyon Drake. I mean, the CMC stuff aside, Jeff Wilson's in a tough spot for game script here.
He just doesn't catch passes, and they should lose cleanly, honestly.
Yeah, Jeff Wilson or Pollard?
I want to go Pollard.
I think it's Wilson.
Okay.
We're just not getting any kind of role for Pollard, right?
I mean, they split touches last week, almost dead even. And it's a terrible Lions run defense.
All right, fine, Pollard. Let's do it. Let's ride.
Let's stop making safe decisions. Halfway through the show, let's heel turn into making
we were done with the responsible decision. Now we're starting Tony Pollard. We're willfully putting Tony Pollard in our lineups. Garrett Wilson is covered by Patrick Surtain and Elijah Moore. Do we look at Corey Davis? No, we do not. We look at Breece Hall, and we look at maybe Garrett Wilson, and we stop there. This game's going to stink.
Okay.
Are you into it? You're into Corey Davis?
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's leading the team in targets and receptions and receiving yards. Like,
this is disgusting. They didn't even say over who. You're just touting Corey Davis, just like.
I am trying to answer the question.
Oh my god. Drake London or Alec Pierce?
Drake London.
Drake London.
Yeah.
It's Drake London. I got you on the Falcons stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Drake London's really good at football. It's insane that they haven't played him. They've played him on 2/3 of the team's snaps in back-to-back weeks, which they're also doing.
No, he ran around on 100% of dropbacks last week.
Okay, so they're just taking him out for plays.
They're just taking him out for run block.
Well, to be fair, they ran 4 dropbacks last week, so this Falcons team like nails on a chalkboard when I think about them.
Yeah, it is bad. All right, Ayuk or Keenan Allen? I think we answered this one. Ayuk. Trade Aaron Jones for Godwin.
Yeah, give me Godwin.
I'm into that. I think it's a good move, man. I think it's one of those ones that it feels like, oh yeah, I want Aaron Jones, but I think you want Godwin. So I think
you for sure want Godwin.
Yeah. All right, who should I start in the flex?
I think we got
Christian
this one
Kirk. Did we? All right, let's move on. Sorry,
Who's Kirk?
Ramondre for Justin Herbert. Quarterbacks are Russell Wilson and Trevor Lawrence. Now it's tough to answer the quarterback questions because like how important is quarterback in your specific league?
I'm assuming it's a standard. There's nothing special about quarterback in this spot.
I probably do this.
You would do it. I probably wouldn't.
Harris is coming back, right? Ramondre, you're selling kind of at the peak of his value. He's like an RB2 once Harris is back. And Herbert, like, okay, so we're redrafting. Herbert's what? Like a 6th round pick? I mean, is Ramondre going in the 6th round? He's probably going around. They're probably going pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could talk me into it, though, for sure. I guess it would depend on what your other running backs are, but I don't know. You're giving me the chance. I love Ramondre, but you're giving me the chance to like bank some value from a running back who's flashing right now. I'm kind of into it. All right, the rest of the way, Tanyan or Kittle? Tanyan or Kyle Pitts, excuse me.
I can't. Kyle Pitts. Please make the pain end. I'm tired.
Oh man. Oh my god. All right. Was offered Amon-Ra St. Brown for Kenneth Walker. I'm Pitts there too, by the way. For Kenneth Walker.
Amon-Ra
St. Brown for my Kenneth Walker. You take Amon-Ra, right?
Amon-Ra St. Brown is like, he's playing like a top 5 receiver in the NFL. He's really not that distant, especially if you throw out the Patriots game, which like didn't play all the snaps, clearly wasn't healthy. He's not that distant from like Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Like he's playing at that level on an offense that is better than we expected. So
yeah, if we were redrafting, he should be like the 108 to he should be in the first round.
Yeah.
And Kenneth Walker wouldn't be in the first round.
Absolutely.
It would be like a late second round pick or something. So I think, I'm going to here. And late second round pick, it might be a little pricier than he'd actually be.
I think that's probably fair. It's a fine guess.
You know what it is? That's where he'd go, but I wouldn't be drafting him.
That's
what I had the second thought. I was like, no, I'm definitely past. But I think that is where he'd go. Yeah, you're right. All right, chasing points after getting burned by Andy Dalton and Eno. Start correct.
That's tough. Imagine going into the slate where you're like, all right, guys, it's pretty much a lock. Sure, maybe a rush for a touchdown.
Well, what would you expect? Eno had a pretty good game, right? Did he score like 20 points?
No, yeah, I'm assuming his opponents burned him, and I'm saying you're like Eno punches one in, but the guy starting Andy Dalton, he's borderline screwed already, and Dalton, I assume against him, dropped 4 touchdowns.
Right.
In a game where he got picked 6 twice.
Like I said, I went to bed after the pick sixes, so that's the image burned into my mind. I'm sorry that Dalton came back from the dead to burn you. Start Cortland Sutton or McLaurin as my wide receiver 2.
If you're chasing points, I feel like McLaurin. Like you talked about it on the Thursday show. Taylor Heineke loves throwing the deep ball. It's strange for someone to love something so much when they're not particularly good at it, but there's a lot of upside to capture here with McLaurin. I don't actually feel that great on the upside just based on the offense of Seattle and not like, I don't know. I think it's McLaurin for me.
It's Sutton for me. I feel like you already got the Ripien in Heineke. Like you already got the bad backup. So Sutton's, I don't know. I just feel better about Sutton. He's going to run all the routes.
All right, Sutton. Deal.
Yeah. Mostert or Montgomery?
Montgomery. I'm not playing. David Montgomery.
Hot hand in Chicago.
I'm not buying this.
They're riding the hot hand, Khalil Herbert. It's going to be
strange. Why haven't they done that at any? Do they know what their roster looked like last year? Wasn't Khalil Herbert on that roster? They were giving David Montgomery every touch.
He's like completely outplayed the guy. You're probably
better
right.
Than him last year.
It's probably Montgomery. But I'd still start Mostert. All right, starting Stevenson with 100% confidence against Chicago, even if Harris is back. I mean, not 100%, but he's your RB2.
Yeah, 100% confidence that he's an RB2. I wouldn't bet on him to be a top 5 running back, which I was close to. But if Harris was out this week, I probably would make him top 5 running back. But I'm still confident he's getting a dozen plus touches against a bad team.
We already talked about DJ Moore, so very quickly, but this is an interesting angle. I think. Is there any chance they just feed him and ship him?
I think it was worded a different way, but we got this already. And I said no, but not because they're looking to bump his value, but because what else are they going to do? Shi Smith ain't getting 9 targets.
I'll tell you one other guy who could get target.
Kerrane, I'm not sure who you're talking about. Could you enlighten me? Are you talking about Ian Thomas? Do they still have Tommy Tremble?
Not Ian Thomas.
Is Terrace Marshall active?
Not Terrace Marshall.
I can't name anymore. Is Rashard Higgins active? That's the last one I can name.
Full practice on Friday. That's all I'm saying. What's up, fellas? Pick a side. Full PPR redraft. Chubb, Gabe Davis, or Mixon, DJ Moore, Jacoby, Brian Robinson.
Chubb Gabe.
That's right. All right.
Get these scrubs out of your lineup.
Yeah, talk about a package, huh?
Right.
0.5 PPR. Choose 2 of Darnell Mooney, Wan'Dale Robinson, or Brian Robinson.
Mooney and Brian.
Yeah. You can't play Robinson yet. I just don't think his routes could stay where they were,
Yep.
He's so far below where you need in terms of his participation. Which of these guys do I sit in full point PPR? CMC, Ken Walker.
CMC.
It's
CMC. I literally don't think he gets more than 6 touches.
Yeah. Roster Rachaad White or Foreman. Rachaad White. Do not drop Rachaad White.
The upside is for Deonta Foreman is that they don't he gets 20 touches a game on the worst offense we've seen in the past decade.
The upside for Rachaad White is that you absolutely had to have him to win in the fantasy playoffs.
Yep.
That's the upside. Do not drop Rachaad White. Which wretched, I think we answered this one.
We did.
Start 2. Christian Kirk, CH, Alec Pierce, Claypool, Robert Woods.
I think I'd go Kirk, CH. I assume you'd go Kirk Pierce.
Yeah, I like this. You can answer for me, and then I'll veto if you're wrong, which you're not. I would go Kirk Pierce. CH is sitting his butt on my bench. All right, is that a new cut? It is a new cut. I got a haircut yesterday. Thank you for noticing. Oh, I didn't block these Tinder bots. Just got to be free.
Yeah, make sure you block those, but like save the link in case, like for legal purposes. You
Oh,
have to send
for
it to me
legal
later.
Wow. Okay, I'll text it to you. Let's see. Stevenson, Pierce, or Swift? I think we answer this. Pierce is prudent. If you want to go Swift, I wouldn't fault you.
Correct. Agreed.
10-man full PPR trade Lamar for Tyreek and pick up Jimmy G until Watson gets back.
Oh, until Watson?
Yes.
I think I would. Yeah, Lamar's so good, but the thing is, like, there's so much more value in having a top 5 receiver than the top 5 quarterback, right? I still think that's true.
Leads the league in yards per route run, getting Tua back. I mean, there's great. I mean, we really do believe in Mike McDaniel here as an offensive mind. So I think
30%, I believe it's 30% on the dot of Tyreek Hill's 150-yard games have come to Miami. He's played 6 games there. Like, they're using him so well, and the offense is just like, it's humming. It's absolutely humming.
All right, let's see. Can we get to the end? I don't know if we're getting all these questions, guys. Sorry. We're already at an hour. I will go a little longer. I can only start.
Take one breeze. Keep going.
Okay.
We're benching CMC.
All right. Fire through these. We'll see how many we get.
Ryan.
Pitts, Freiermuth, and Schultz.
Pitts, but like, it's Pitts.
Why did I get skipped? Didn't we answer you, Akash? Or Arash, excuse me? Nico Collins or Wandale? Nico. Odo worth a roster spot? I do think he's worth a roster spot if you can squeeze him in.
The last timeline was like mid-November. We're still weeks away from that.
Yeah, but he's going to contender, right? He's only signing with like a really strong team. So I feel like, yes, I wouldn't be like, you have to get him. But if you're like debating, like, would you rather have him or Chuba?
Probably him.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I think I might.
That's a good way to put it.
Over, but yeah. We already did talk about CMC quite a few times. You can rewind for that. If Dobbins is out, Kenyon Drake or Travis Etienne?
Kenyon. You're going to choose Etienne?
That's correct. All right, Howard Soner, drop Lawrence for Geno.
Geno, for sure.
Yeah, I'm Geno. All right. Start 2. Okay. CMC or Damian Pierce. CMC Damian Pierce all day. So CMC we don't think is going to play. Did I miss any Dulcich talk? You did. You can
have to rewind.
Go back to the tight end discussion for that. All right, Dulcich, Bellinger, or Fant?
Dulcich.
Oh yeah.
I don't hate Bellinger, but Dulcich.
Tua or Dak?
Tua.
All right, need some serious help. Haddon was starting CMC, flexing Jeff Wilson. I don't know I have no idea what's going on in this question. I think we have to choose a flex here. I think my flex is Alec Pierce. Your lock is calling me damn grandpa. I believe because I said I went to bed.
No. I didn't actually go. This was in reference to a Tinder bot that was blocked.
Oh, was it? Okay.
It was. The account was called Grandma, just kept spamming.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're like Granny, chill. This is unnecessary, grandmother. Okay.
The name was literally Grandma, I think.
Oh, well, that's a weird. Okay. Let's move on. Trade Justin Jefferson for Dalvin Cook and Amari Cooper. I don't think so, man.
I don't think so either.
Justin Jefferson. And you could probably say, like, make a strong case of the values on the Cook side. It's like, it's Justin Jefferson.
Yep.
People, I have no way. Something was going on here in the chat. Juju, Bateman, or Alec Pierce?
Juju. Yeah, fire him up. Don't you dare play Alec Pierce over him. Got to get Matt Ryan's top receiver, maybe.
It's Alec Pierce. Will DJ Moore's ADOT be negative this week, or is that a prop?
It's going to be, I'm going to guess 2.9.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Have Cook on by playing Chubb, sit Ramondre or Walker.
Sit Ramondre. I think there's a little more uncertainty there. We just know, so much about Walker's role.
All right. People defending Corey Davis in the chat, so you do have some backers there.
You got this.
Trey, I already answered this. Start Aaron Jones or Zeke. It's
Aaron Jones. Zeke. Aaron Jones. Really?
It's against the Lions. I mean, we talked ourselves into Tony Pollard.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Let's go Aaron Jones. Let's go Aaron Jones.
We both switch at the same time.
We're just switching. All right, I think we do like a couple more. All right,
go for it.
Redraft 12-team. Amon-Ra, Sutton, CH, and Claypool. I don't know what's going on. Amon-Ra, Sutton, CH, and Claypool for Eckler and T. That's a trade.
Oh, I didn't realize Eckler was involved. Yeah, you take the Eckler and T side.
I think you do as well. Traded Foreman for Wandale. L trade? No, you want Wandale Robinson there.
Wow, you've been conned. Look at the tense of the word trade.
Oh my God. I'm so mad. I actually answered one of these. Oh,
you fool.
Oh, okay. Now, you see, we stick around. It's 5 minutes past when this podcast.
I also think this one qualifies as something you would rule out. It's a set my lineup question.
Yeah. Pick 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs. This is a bit. This is literally a whole lineup. You know what, Matt? Well done. Good bit. We're not answering it, though. Zeke or Pollard?
Still Zeke.
Yeah.
Gap might be closing, but I can't say confidently it has closed at all yet.
Need 3 of Aaron Jones, CH, Ramondre. That's 2 of the 3. That's Aaron Jones and Ramondre for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you agree. Deontay over Dobbs. Mostert, ETN.
Mostert.
I think
you said
the right call.
But,
Kenyon Drake over CMC, yes. I think we answered this one. Juju, Bateman, or Pierce we answered?
I said Juju, and I said you would say
right,
Pierce. I would not. I have no. I guess maybe for.
I would not either.
I'd be fine doing it for Foreman if you're down bad at running back, but I would want to try and my best to hold Hollywood over these guys specifically. There's just no upside. This offense is going to be downright atrocious. I don't care how many touches the guys get.
All right, 2 more. Ryan says I'm 0-6 and need to win. I think I'm Brian Robinson for upside.
I would have said
twice. You can see it.
Okay, sure, go for
it. Sutton, I just told you could see it. I mean, I think you did. Sutton, Amon-Ra, CH, or Claypool. Oh, all right. So I think that's it. Oh my God, mine. You have put the question in twice, and the question is, did I win this trade? I've already answered it. You haven't followed any of our rules. We'll close on one that didn't fill me with rage. Bateman, Gallup, Curtis Samuel, Pitts. Pick 2.
Gallup and Pitts.
Gallup and Pitts it is. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We will be back here next Friday. You can check out our recap podcast. Will be out early Monday morning. We'll be going through all of the games. Kyle will be on with me. We'll be talking all the context that you need to know about what happened on Sunday. Got great content all week. Kyle and Lawrence are on with Pat talking about rankings. Got Pat and Denny on Monday. We do a preview podcast on Thursday as well. So check all that great content out, as well as everything on the site. My walkthrough is live right now. You can check that out. Kyle's got DFS covered for you. We will see you next week at 1:15.